Okay, Melissa, we're good.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay.
Okay, this is the first time. Exciting.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I just wanted to say, first off, I was very inspired by what you were writing on Instagram.
That's
It
so kind of you. Thank you.
yeah, it resonates. A little bit about us. I feel like we have to go back to the fact that we were high school friends and I
We
don't
were
know,
besties.
we were besties. I agree. I feel like we've taken since that time like our own personal path towards healing. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to communicate about it and just share experiences and really, I think what was needed back then for me personally was like a guided, supported voice or like someone to say like, "Holy shit, I've been through this. Like, do this, do this, do this, do this," or
Yeah.
and maybe that would have like supported me in my crazy journey. Uh,
Yeah.
so first off, thank you so much for coming through
For sure. Thank you for having me here.
or initiating, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, I never really understood like what was the thing that sparked your journey after high school?
What was the thing that sparked my journey? I think, I don't know. I think I've always been like a highly sensitive person, like super sensitive, really like felt everything. And I think like you, I didn't really have like the tools on how to manage that. I think like being the child of immigrants, probably like you were, like nobody was like, teaching us tools on how to manage our anxiety or stress or emotions. And I think I graduated high school, I went to college. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was pretty confused. I got a master's in metropolitan studies. Like, what does that even mean?
Was this from
But
NYU when you were back in
yeah, it was from NYU. And I think when I graduated and I was like, why did I even major in this? I realized because it was like what I was interested in was the study of the actual people, like how the environment and urban environment is used by different people, where they come from, like how do we use space? And then I think that just led me also at the end of college, I had like a horrible breakup. And I think that really like shook me up pretty badly. And I was in a really dark, bad place. And I started going to therapy. That's like when I first started therapy. And I was like, wow, like, and I think the idea of like wanting to work with people and understand people, being so sensitive myself and like going through my own healing journey was really what led me to want to be a therapist.
Yeah, I just want to say very similar situation there. Like I remember
Yeah.
when I think you know this, by the way, when I was like 17, 18, that bad breakup. I don't think it was anything with the breakup. It was like kind of like revealing myself to me. Like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I feel insecure. Holy shit, I feel unworthy. Holy shit,
Yeah.
I
Like
feel,
really big emotions that you've never
and I'm like,
felt
like,
before.
what do I deal with this? Like, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
Um, do a lot of people come to you with like those types of things? Like, I know you deal with like,
Not really right now. Well, I work with a lot of teenage girls because I'm at one of the Jewish high schools here. So I have a lot of like teenage girl drama and like boy drama. But I would say most of my practice right now is moms, like
how to deal with
30s.
shit.
Exactly. Like just everybody is feeling super overwhelmed. I have men too. I have a few guys. Just everybody's like, how do I manage my life? I'm feeling really overwhelmed and with kids and work and making time for yourself. And yeah, I'd
And
say
all
that's
of
the
that.
majority of it. Yeah.
So what do you think's like some healing tools were that you learned that now that you kind of fall back on?
Um, so one thing I want to mention that I did last night, actually for the first time, that was like almost life-changing. I've never done this before. I mean, I teach a lot of like deep breathing techniques, like box breathing, there's Wim Hof method, there's like a lot of good breathing techniques that help.
Yeah.
But I went to this place last night called Base to Vegas, and it's a breath work space. And it was an hour of deep breathing,
That's
like
spiritual.
real deep breathing. Yeah, it was spiritual. It was like led by, Jews, Orthodox Jews. It was really amazing. Like I have never felt that calm in my whole life. And it's actually like it's an exercise, like to be able to breathe that deeply. So I do teach a lot of deep breathing techniques, which I really swear by, but this was just like next level. Like I woke up with like no tightness in my body. I was like, when's this gonna come back? Like, is this actually gone?
I
Like, what's
think,
going on? Am I actually calm?
you know what I think? Okay, so with that, I feel like one of the biggest myths that I realized was like emotions aren't real almost because it's essentially energy inside your body.
Yeah.
We breathe it out and if we kind of move it,
Yeah.
like when we feel overwhelmed, I feel overwhelmed sometimes, but if you get centered and you breathe it and you walk it and you scream it sometimes like into a pillow or something like that,
Totally.
it's super, super, super helpful.
There's a really good book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, I love
And
that.
it, oh my God. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's all just about how trauma like gets stuck in your body. Because therapy, I mean, I'm a therapist. I believe in talk therapy. I think it does help and it does work. But at a certain point, like if you're just gonna keep replaying everything but not doing anything about it or not, it's not gonna like stick.
You're
I don't know if
essentially
you
in a loop.
exactly. So I really do believe in like ground up techniques, like where doing things with your body will change your mind. Like I think it can be both, like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where you change your thoughts, you change how you feel. But also like if you change the literal tightness and move the energy in your body, you're gonna feel better.
I hear you. Like, is that like one thing you would have said to yourself when we were younger? Like,
Yeah, I wish
Mel, just
somebody
keep
would have taught
moving, like
me.
move your ass, like it'll be all be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I started like really exercising. I think it was like end of college where like I just started running and working out really hard and I felt amazing after. And I was like, oh wow, like that's the same thing, like just getting it out, sweating it out, moving it out.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, I wish
all
somebody.
yeah. I feel like one big huge mitzvah that you're doing is guidance. Like I feel like guidance is a human need that many
Yeah.
people don't, I don't know,
Yeah.
they don't have. Like holy shit. Like
Yeah,
um
just creating a space for people, like a space to feel like seen and heard. And like putting stuff on Instagram or TikTok at first, I was like, this is like super, why am I doing this? And I was like, this is not really about me. Like, if I can help somebody or like create a space or like make somebody feel like somebody understands them or like, it's not about me. Like, let your ego go. Who cares?
yeah, that's actually inspiring because at the end of the day, like Sarah, my wife is, I don't know, she's very good at getting in front of a camera, but there's like
Yeah.
prior
I
to
saw her
doing,
page. It's great.
yeah, prior to doing that, there's like a sense of exposure.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I personally struggle with exposure. I'm like, oh, like, I'm like this funny human being. Am
Yeah.
I supposed to be like this spiritual, emotional being as well? Like I'm not certain because for a man, it's like, holy shit, like I'm gonna expose this part of myself. Like,
Right. I think it is different for men, but like, why can't you be both? Why can't you be that funny person and also somebody who's deeply spiritual?
yeah, embracing that more and more.
Yeah. I think as we get older, we also stop like caring as much. You know what I mean? Like I see it in my kids, like my 13-year-old, he's like so hyper aware of what people think of him. And I'm like, and then I realize that as you get older, you kind of just like, yeah, who
It's
cares?
it's a hypersensitivity. Yeah, I also like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we started to realize our first boy, like he bounces off the walls,
Yeah. And that tell
struggles
me about that.
struggles to stay still, and I just kind of went back and started to realize like holy shit, like what exactly is going on for him. My wife and I, we have like a roster of therapists for ourselves, for our family, like
Yeah.
supports. And one person that we went to was explaining ADHD, ADD, and
Yeah.
we started to realize, like we read a book, it's called ADHD 2.0, and one of
Okay.
one of the big things there was ADHD is genetic. And we're like, ADHD is genetic? Like, what are you
You're like,
talking?
which one of us has that?
Yeah, and we when we dug into it, we're like, wow, we both have this. Like we both
Yeah.
have parts of like we can't sit down. One of the things in ADHD is hyper awareness, hypersensitivity, like, and we started to realize, holy shit, like this is probably part of like our emotional makeup of being hypersensitive has to do with this thing that we have, this condition that's also a superpower. So
Yeah.
exploring.
Interesting. How's he doing now?
Um, I feel with the right support and like you say, hold the space. Like if you hold the space
Yeah.
for someone, um, he has like the freedom to be heard and just guidance. Like Sarah and I are very aware as parents, and
Exactly.
I
I think
wish
that's
I would
very
have.
different. I know.
I wish I
I
would have.
think, yeah, I think our generation, like our parents were just trying to survive and like figure out how to exist and like build a life in a new country.
Yeah, totally. Like I was sharing with someone today, my because I was very sensitive, I cried a lot growing up. So they assumed that was weakness, or they said
Right.
you can't like men can't cry or men can't.
Yeah.
It's like now it's you realize like holy shit, like that is a release valve to like get to another
Yeah.
healing part of yourself ultimately.
My husband says that to my son a lot, and I always correct it. I was like, it's not, it's actually a strength to be able to cry. It's like being vulnerable is a strength. It's not anything to be embarrassed of. Like, please don't shame him for crying.
We got to speak to Sam about that.
Yeah.
So how have
Good.
things been with you other than that? Like what's going on in your world?
I'm just really busy. Like, thank God, like the private practice has really taken off.
Because of
So,
Insta or something else?
I think it's like a combo of all things. Yeah, I've definitely realized like you have to put yourself out there. Like people aren't just gonna know what I do. I mean, I'm on a lot of these like, Psychology Today, these apps, but I realized a lot of people don't know I'm a therapist. And once they knew and I was putting myself out there more, thank God, it got busy, which is great, but also like hard to find time for myself, which has been a little bit rough, but thank God, like I feel blessed.
When you shared with me about your kids, like you have to drop them off and you have to pick them up at different times and they go to the same
Yeah.
school. I was like, holy shit, like how does she actually deal with that? Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I try to manage my day so like most of my clients are like today I'm gonna go till 3 o'clock and then I pick up the kids. But the problem with that is like when do I breathe? So
So what's the answer there for yourself? I feel like, by the way, mothers and fathers have a very different experience. Like my wife is organizing everything for my kids to the T. And my
yeah.
experience is I go to work and
Yeah, you don't carry the mental load.
no,
You know what I mean? Like you're not like worried about if there's enough toilet paper or like
I don't
if
even know what
everyone's
that means.
costume. Yeah, you don't know
Like
what that's the problem. I don't know if you call it a problem, but like, women are working now. I'm working, but I carry a lot of extra. And I think also I'm in a very traditional home with my husband where, he's like a Persian Jewish guy and he just expects like to be like kind of taken care of,
yeah.
which is fine. I like to do things for him, but it's just when do you take time for yourself? So I try to go to acupuncture like every other week. I'll fit it in. I go to therapy myself.
I feel like,
Also,
by the way, the car rides itself could be therapeutic.
yeah, listening to music and just driving. That's walking for me is a big one. At least 30 minutes every day. Like I'll fit it in a walk. And then in the mornings, usually like a 30-minute workout, I'll get in. I
What's
would say
been,
that's the big.
yeah, what's been nice for Sarah and I is sometimes in the morning time we walk. She used to listen to
That's really
podcasts,
nice.
but like she stopped just to like hear the sounds. I'm very into nature, so is Sarah.
Yeah,
And there's something very healing about that, like being able to go. It's kind
100%.
of a date, to be honest. It's like, okay, we're gonna walk together now.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. It's like just the two of you doing something together with no outside noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to go back to our teenage self. What do you think you could have either taught yourself then that would have helped you cope with the craziness that we went through high school emotionally, that you didn't know back then that you do now?
That's a really good question. What do I wish
I
I
might call
knew?
this podcast high school. or like high school friends.
I love that. What would I tell my teenage self? I think that take off the pressure. Like I think I held a lot of feeling like I was responsible for everybody in my family and like making sure everybody was okay emotionally. And, there was a lot of stress in my home and I carried a lot of that weight. So just like putting that down and showing myself more like grace, kindness to myself. I don't think I was good at that. I think I still struggle with that, but like now I'm much more self-aware of it. With the high school girls that I work with, what I notice is a big one for a lot of them is that they don't, they push their parents away, but they actually don't want them to go away. Like it's like leave me alone, but like actually come and give me a hug and like ask me how my day was, even though I told you you're annoying and I don't want you to talk to me. I think I was really close to my mom, but I don't think it was in such a, I think there weren't good boundaries there. But yeah, I think I would have wanted somebody to just tell me that I was normal and everything I was experiencing was okay and that it wasn't my fault. How
Was
about you?
was there I'm gonna share and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
um a very big one I learned also via my Torah classes was don't don't always rely on the exterior. Almost no part of joy
Yeah.
comes from the exterior. Like
I think it's
that's
dopamine, the exterior, like, quick hit of dopamine, you feel good, but it's not like lasting.
exactly. And I was, or I have been Mr. Dopamine. Um, and going back to self, like that is actually the booby prize. Like the nice
Yeah.
things, the physical, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
the beautiful girl, or the physical watch, or the physical car, or um, like learning how to just be happy with where you are. There was a whole lot of FOMO in high school.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have to go to the party and you have to go and do this, or you have to go and hang out with this person, or else you're not cool and you're really not in the experience and you're kind of like you're in your mind a lot because I think it's also a lot of like not yet being comfortable with my body.
Yeah.
As you remember, there was like a huge growth spurt there
Yeah.
in my
You
life.
were so tiny, and then all of a sudden you came back one summer and we're like, what? You're a
Yeah.
man
Yeah. I told my wife I grew in like a period of 18 months, 12 inches, and she's like, "What? Like that makes no sense."
Yeah, it was insane.
My son, I look at him today, he's 6 years old, and I'm like, I was this tall at eighth grade.
You were so tiny. But but all joking aside, I wonder what that was like for you all of a sudden to be in this completely new body.
It was it's like, okay, first off, you're in ninth grade, you're a very cute boy, and like, oh, you're like a little baby. And then you're like, oh, I feel uncomfortable because I'm very tall and very skinny. And I think whatever the like the trigger points or the insecurities are, you essentially just look at your body and say, oh, well, I'm not enough, so my body's not enough, and blah, 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 blah. Like you make like a series of excuses. Um, and then over time, I think after high school, really what I could have wished for is just guidance of like how to deal with certain things and how to be, I don't know, like socially normal and socially acceptable and
Yeah.
socially, and
It's
you don't, of
interesting that you think of yourself like that because like that's not how I remember you. I remember you
course
as like
not.
so social.
Yes,
You were
yes,
so
of course.
fun, so social. You were like so easy to hang out with.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. But the experience inside ourselves, I read something so beautiful on Instagram, I think it was, which, okay, like every child that grows up in a house has a different experience of their childhood. Like one
Yeah.
thinks their parents were trying their best, the other thinks their parents
Yeah.
were favoring the eldest. The other thought the parents was incredibly mean to them, and it's just the same parents.
Yeah. I actually talk to my sister about that a lot because I'll tell her something and she'll be like, really? I did not have that experience. I was like, I've been carrying around all this like drama all these years and you don't even feel any of it? And she's like, no, it didn't bother me.
I was speaking to one of my best friends who's also like on this path, and he was sharing with me he came to his brother and he felt like he bullied his brother. Like he was very, very upset with himself because he like
Mm,
totally bullied his brother. And he came to apologize to his brother. It took him years, like a decade plus. And the brother's like,
yeah.
"What are you talking about? Like, I didn't feel bullied by you at all."
And he's been carrying this around for years, feeling,
It's crazy where things get stuck inside our nervous systems. Because
yeah,
one person can be like, okay, well, that didn't trigger me at all. And then the other person's like, no, I know I did that to you.
yeah, it is crazy.
What's also crazy is that it's the journey never ends almost.
No,
Like the more
there's no
healing
quick fix, or you're never going to be
and the more
healed
healing,
completely.
the more exactly. And I was asking my rabbi this week, like, Rabbi, like, does it come to a point? Because he's like 70, I'm 38. I'm like, does it come to you like you've
Yeah,
done so much healing in your life? Does it come to a point where like God lets you go? Like, okay, you've done enough healing, you're good. And he's like, you're joking, right? Like he laughed and he's like,
yeah,
healing is like a father. And I'm like, healing's like a father. What does that mean? And
yeah,
he says it in Hebrew, healing is cave, or no, suffering is like a father. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, suffering is cave. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And he says, Ke'av. It's literally the same letters, like your father. All this suffering that we go through in life, now that I'm on the other side in many, many ways, I bless
yeah,
the people that triggered me, antagonized me,
yeah,
bullied me, made me, like whatever I was suffering with, like, thank you. Thank you so much. Because that like,
yeah.
you know what I
I
mean?
grew. I grew as a person because of it. Yeah, if we don't have pain or suffering, we're not going to grow.
Yeah, I don't know that everyone understands that or can allow that, the
Yeah.
discomfort.
I think like that's why me and you probably click so much early on because we both, you people who really that resonates with, like I feel like we find each other. We're like, I
Oh
feel
yeah, like
this.
my soul sister. Yeah, like
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can say where we grew up, I don't know that everyone had that experience.
No, I don't. It's really something I struggle with. I have a lot of empathy was is like when I feel like people are so trapped in the superficiality. I mean, I like nice things too, like anybody else. We like nice things, but when it just becomes the only thing that they're about, I'm like, how can you not want more than this? How is this the only thing for you? Don't you feel it? Like it's just making you miserable? But again, like you say, like when you grow up, and I think a lot of Jewish communities are like that.
I don't know that they feel they have other options also. They're like,
Right. They
you know
feel
what I mean?
trapped.
Like I'm seeing Instagram, like what everyone else is be like made
Yeah.
happy by. Like, what are like really like what are my other options? If I didn't find my therapist, or if you didn't find your therapist, and we didn't go on this crazy
Yeah.
weird path, like
Yeah.
we would have chosen. I would have chosen like drugs or alcohol probably.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like I could totally have seen myself becoming addicted to a substance as a way of just numbing out.
You 100%.
Yeah, I totally see how that happens.
Yeah.
Because the
Uh,
work is hard. The work is really hard and it's painful and it's messy and it's not always fun at all.
what? Okay, so like, what role does your community play in the healing or the trauma in your experience?
The healing or the trauma.
Yeah.
I I think I'm really blessed to have like I have good friends who I feel like I can really they feel like real friends. I'm not very good at like the whole fake friend thing. Like I'm nice and friendly, but I have like a few real friends and I don't have enough energy to the rest. So I think they really, if I didn't have them, I don't know what I would do. I'm really blessed in that way. The trauma, I think what I really also struggle with is, my kids go to like a modern Orthodox day school that's pretty wealthy, upper class. And they also, I worry that they think that certain things are important that are not the most important thing, like cars and clothes, and my daughter comes home every day with like a new request for a new Aviator Nation hoodie, and I'm like, or like the new Aloe. So again, it's I think it's the struggle of I want her to feel like she fits in and but at the same time I don't want her to put so much value on those things.
Yeah. So I was sharing this with a close friend, or he came to me and like his daughter was getting bullied in school because they were saying like your parents don't have enough money, so you can't be our friends. And she's
Oh,
like
that's horrible.
third grade, and my son comes to me sometimes and says, "Well, Dad, like, can we get this car or can we get that car or his father has this?" And I'm like, James, like we can't, or Yosef, whatever we call him, like we can't, like we should never share. I was sharing with him, like we should never share with people like the amount of money because those things aren't real in some respects. Like my rabbi was sharing with me how everything beautiful and everything real in the world gets he said it gets grown away from eyes. Like if people are looking at you and they're saying like, "Oh my God, you have this and you have this and you have this," it's like to me personally, it's not the best energy because they're
No.
focusing on some
Jealousy.
envy and not
Yeah.
real shit. Like real shit is
Yeah.
when we come home, we put our phones away and we're with our kids and like share experiences. Like if you want to go and compete with
Yeah.
them, compete
It's
with them.
also never ending. It's like the never ending, you're never going to be happy. It's like you're
Never fucking.
constantly,
I saw a
no,
beautiful a graph which was like from 1930 to 2025, like how are we spending our time? And through the
the
years,
device in our face.
exactly. And like I think it's getting to a point where it's like people are realizing this, hopefully, or at least our age, and they're like, I remember our childhoods without phones, and I remember
Yeah.
playing on the streets, and I remember chilling in Jackie Sax's backyard or going
Yeah.
to Country Cafe.
Oh, Country Cafe, El Segundo.
Like, those are the real things, I think. I feel like we've gotten lost in the sauce a bit.
Yeah, but I think the real problem is how do you change that as a society? That's the hard part. It's because it can't just be it has to be communal effort to want something more, want something different. I think that even in Orthodox communities, it's become there's really a very high level of superficial, and I mean we all fall into it. I want nice things, I like nice things, and I covet nice things, but at the end of the day, like, is this really going to make me happy? Why? Why?
Why do you think we do it? Like, why do you think everyone is so superficial? Myself included, by the way, in certain ways.
Yeah, I think it's also like the dopamine. I think it's like the quick hit of dopamine when you like buy something new and you feel good, it makes you happy. I think we're all also probably like a little insecure and carrying around nice things makes people think like, hey, look at me, I'm important. I'm successful. I can afford this bag. I can afford this. So you know, I
By the
don't
way,
know.
I
I
just I just wanted
struggle
to
with it.
say also, I wanted to come on mainly because even if we don't get a ton of views, which is fine,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. I feel like communicating just about, I don't know, at some point in your fucking life, you would just want to say to yourself, holy shit, I've lived 38 years of my life. We've been through so much. Like, you want to remove and just show people who you really are and kind of remove
Yeah.
the mask and allow vulnerability and communicate through that because we're all going through the same shit, I think.
Yeah. I think anybody who follows you on Instagram knows that there's more to you because you post a lot of like anything you post. I'm always like, oh my God, totally. Yes. Yes.
It's funny that people come to me and say that, but like to get in front of the camera is like super weird for me. Like,
I know.
and
It gets easier.
does
It's
it?
very awkward. Yeah, it does.
So, okay, what I noticed also, like that my kids are like so fucking comfortable in front of the camera. Like my son speaks to a phone like it's his friend, and I'm thinking, why is that? I see this
Doesn't
guy
have that
watch,
insecurity yet.
and he's watching YouTube, and he's realizing, holy shit, they're doing it. I can do it also. And like, we
Yeah.
we kind of passed that point, and somehow we're like, I don't know, speaking to a camera, it's kind of weird. Like, fuck.
It's very weird. But again, I think it goes back to like drowning out your ego. Like anytime we're listening to our ego, it's usually pulling us in the wrong direction. So it's like, who
Facts.
cares how I look on camera? Like right now, I keep thinking I probably have lipstick on my teeth, but whatever. Hopefully, nobody will notice.
Okay, so how do you personally drown out your ego? And when do you see, like, to me, the ego is Yetzer Hara.
Sorry, you exactly. I think of it exactly the same way. How do I drown out my ego? Is that what you asked me? Because you got cut out for a minute.
Yeah, and when do you realize it's like coming through?
I think it's like a feeling you get anytime there's like a little bit of envy, or for me, also, I think my ego puts me down a lot and tells me like, oh, you're so bad at this. You're so, you know. So I think it's like I have to catch it. I'm very self-aware and I'm like, no, that's not how we're going to talk to ourselves right now. You are not a fat ass because you just ate two cookies for breakfast. Like, it's okay. You're human. You had two cookies and move on. Do better for your next meal. So for me, it's really shame. I think my ego shows up as like shames me a lot for the things I've done or the choices I've made. And so really, I think for me, like Hashem, God plays a huge role in my healing. Like it, I'll be honest with you, I about 3 years ago, and then I love it how we like no time left, but now I'm like drop the bomb.
Yeah,
I
please.
had a major depressive episode and it was pretty bad. And
Was it
I went
from like a postpartum situation?
It wasn't postpartum. It was like I got triggered by something probably really stupid. I think it was probably like linked to hormones and a lot of other things that it just spiraled. And I did a lot of healing work, acupuncture, therapy, a lot of things. And I think the thing that felt like it was missing and that really helped me heal was God. Like, no therapist was talking. And I think that's my Instagram is much more like, no, you have to include God in your healing. Like, there's no healing unless you know that there's a higher power. At the end of the day, like, we know nothing. If I
Fact.
can believe and trust, like, there is God in control and I am going to be okay, that's when you like let go, you know?
100%. Like this is a very, very big one for me. I had it like a crazy situation very recently where, so I'm very big on Chabad.
Me too. I love Chabad. Yeah.
I go and visit the Rebbe like a couple of times a week,
That's
and
awesome.
I'll so like a healing emotional thing that I do, I'll write him
Yeah.
a letter of what's going on.
Yeah.
Rebbe, this and this is going on. This is dark for me. This is not pleasant for me. I want to move through this. And somehow I always have these very weird experiences. Like I'll get a phone call, I'll get a message from someone of something I wrote to the Rebbe, and like
Wow.
an answer like 5 to 10 minutes later or whatever.
It's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, and it's been a very, very, very big one for me to like go and speak. There's something very powerful about even if it's not ripping up a letter to a Rebbe, but it's writing down what's going
Yeah.
on for you, and
100%.
even having a ritual. Like one ritual I used to do, I used to journal 3 times per week, and then I used to take a letter, like the thing that I journaled, and burned it outside, just to like say goodbye to like the trauma that I'm
Yeah.
experiencing in that letter.
Yeah. It's
The,
very therapeutic. Like,
the rituals are very, very important for my life.
can I ask you, do you
Sure.
feel like as a man, it is hard to find men who are like on your level of healing and self-work?
I see that there's a very sincere issue with vulnerability.
Yeah.
Very much so. Do I have like a crew that's totally in line with me? Totally. Like even
Mhm.
friends from how we grew up. Like I mean from high school. Like Adam Tibero is very into he's gonna be okay with me saying this. He's very into psychedelic medicine. So
Yeah.
he's very into like I can totally have an emotional conversation with him. Ori Musayev, like him and I went on a trip like right when I got married to Montreal, and we had like a crazy, crazy episode there. And essentially I shared with him like my like, oh, I'm going to a therapist and I think you might look for it. And he
Yeah.
started to go to my therapist, and this was like 10 years ago. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know, I kind of like I think some part of my purpose is bringing people into like men, bringing them into
Yeah.
have these emotional conversations because it's not fucking
Yeah.
easy.
No, I have a few male clients and I struggle with them because I'll be like, so how's it going? They're like, fine. The women come in and they're like, here's everything. And I'm like, I have to like pull. I'm like, okay, what are we here to, So I think that's great. That's awesome that you're able to have a community of people who
Yeah,
are on
but
that same
I
page.
think men in general, they really struggle in communication and
Because how they were raised, they were taught that you weren't supposed to be vulnerable. That was a sign of weakness.
yeah, which is I don't know. I think really the idea behind the podcast is to be able to communicate with people that come from where we come from, or and I think it's really a good percentage of the world to be able to say like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a man. I don't know. I have a wife. I'm about to have my fourth kid. Pretty much have my shit together. I don't know. I'm straight. It's all good. Like it's okay to communicate around these things. I think it's
Yeah.
a superpower, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah. It's not
how
easy to be vulnerable. Hard.
it's I think vulnerability to many men thinks like, oh, I'm gonna cry and like lose control and you'll see me as weak. I think that's bullshit. And number
Yeah.
two, one thing that I got into, I want to say like maybe 5 years ago at the minimum, is nonviolent communication. Huge, 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 huge superpower. How do we communicate with each other? With compassion.
Yeah.
Like so many times, like even at Thanksgiving or Shabbat, when I'm with my family, it's like people are going at each other, meaning my extended family.
Yeah.
How do I not demonize you? It's such a small thing, but so ginormous. How do I just hear you without judging you and without saying
Yeah.
that you're a piece of shit that wants to kill me? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's a practice. I think reminding yourself that everybody is human. Everybody is going through their own stuff. Like no, it's never about you, you
No.
know?
By the way,
Yeah.
our time is gonna run out.
Okay.
Okay, I enjoyed this. I'm gonna share this on YouTube, I think, and
Yeah.
we should continue.
Honestly, this was great. It was really nice talking to you and fun.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure.
Yeah, let's do it
Very
again.
minimum, it's for me personally, there is some healing to it.
Yeah, same, honestly. I would
Okay,
love to do it again.
okay, great.
Okay, it was nice talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.